Some ministries. Recall that a number of ministers left the federal cabinet a few days ago to go and test the political waters. And speaking about politics, many more politicians are putting themselves up for elective offices. You will get to see a few of them. Also tonight, the fallout from the recent media and security operatives retreat. We will be speaking to a media expert. Stay with us for these and other stories. I am Funke Oga. Following the resignation of some ministers of the Federal Republic, President Goodluck Jonathan has appointed some ministers to supervise the vacant ministries. Council has approved the contract for the extension of the East-West Road beginning from Uyo-Oron roundabout to Odupani in Cross River State. This formed part of the decisions taken by the council at its meeting. State House correspondent Shegun Lawoli reports. We now go back to our very first offering for today, which is following the resignation of some ministers of the Federal Republic. President Goodluck Jonathan has appointed some ministers to supervise the vacant ministries.
The Minister of Defense will continue to function and oversee the functions of the Minister of State Defense, Mr. Ambassador Musili Obanikoro, who has resigned. Professor Mrs. Viola Onwoliri, Minister of State 1 for Foreign Affairs, has now been moved to Ministry of Education as Substantive Minister of State. Dr. Haliru Alassan will now oversee the functions of the Minister of Health, Professor Onyobuchi Chukwu, who has also resigned. Dr. Olusegun Aganga, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, will oversee the functions of Mr. Otom, who has resigned as Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment. Dr. Nuruddin Mohammed, that's myself, Minister of State Information, Minister of State Foreign Affairs, will oversee the functions of Mr. Laura Maku as Minister of Information and National Orientation. San, Honorable Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, will oversee the Ministry. Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs will continue to oversee the functions of the Minister of State Niger Delta, who had also resigned. These are the little adjustments, the shuffling Mr. President has made to the cabinet because of the resignation of 7 ministers.
Very soon you get to meet the new supervising ministers. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has approved the contract for the extension of the East-West Road beginning from Uyo-Oron roundabout to Odupani in Cross River State. This formed part of the decisions taken by the council at its meeting. State House correspondent Shegun Lawoli reports.
Chaired by President Jonathan, approved the Phase 1, Section 5 of the East-West Road beginning from Uyo-Oron roundabout to Odupani in Calabar. Originally, the East-West Road has 4 sections before the extension sought by the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs and approved by the council.
Because the old contract ends where? At Section 4, which is Uyo-Oron roundabout. But beyond that point, from there to Calabar, people need to use boats to cross before they continue their journeys, and the journey used to take 3 hours.
The ministry also got the approval for the variation of the contract for the dualization of sections 1 and 2 of the East-West Road project at a revised estimated cost of 23.4 billion naira.
The Minister of Niger Delta tabled a memorandum to seek Council's approval for the revised total costs, estimated total costs of various contracts as a result of rising cost of critical construction materials, plants, localized taxes, spiral effect of inflation, etc., which has reached an unbearable level over the years.
The council also approved the award of the contract for the supervision of Calabar Urban Eastern Okoroba section and also the supervision of Mbise Ring Road intersection, Owerri, Umuahia Road in Imo State. Each of the contract supervision is at a cost of 106 million naira, through the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. And after due consultations, the Ministry of Power got an approval for the purchase of a zonal office building for the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission in Owerri at about 132 million naira. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment also got the approval for the award of contract for the appointment of a transaction advisor for the rehabilitation of the Independence Building for the National Trade and International Business Center project in Lagos.
It is expected that upon successful completion of the project, the center will generate revenue and provide a one-stop international business center for the development of trade and enhancement of foreign investment in Nigeria.
The supply and installation of full jet simulator for the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Zaria also received the blessing of the council. The 5000 series Boeing 737 jet simulator will be located at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos.
So when you have graduated as a pilot and you start flying the 737, you need to get recurrency training every 6 months, which currently they go abroad to do. So this is being done by the airlines. So to make sure that the simulator is in a place where the airlines can use it maximally, it is being placed in Lagos so that most of the operators and their technical crew, together with the oversight function of the NCAA, can overlook the training, the recurrency training of these pilots in Lagos.
Meanwhile, Nigeria is set to deploy over 500 health volunteers to assist the African countries still battling with the Ebola virus disease.
Of course, we have a special pool that we have reserved specifically to respond to any emergency across the country. So the team are ready to go, but it has to be through the leadership of ECOWAS and African Union to be coordinated by WHO. So they are ready to go.
In the State House, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
Similarly, the Senate has passed for second reading a bill seeking to abolish and prohibit dichotomy and discrimination between first degree and the higher national diploma in the same profession. This is to address an ongoing controversy over wage disparity and other injustices being meted to polytechnic graduates in the public and private sectors of the nation's economy. National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Senator Ayo Akinye-Lure from Ondo State, who sponsored the bill, lamented that the perceived and real discrimination against HND graduates in preference for degree holders is derailing the nation's core policy thrust of evolving a technological and scientifically based, self-sufficient and self-reliant society.
Indeed, science and technology rules the whole world, and we cannot afford to lag behind in our technological and scientific progression to develop Nigeria technologically.
I don't think that this country is doing justice to itself and doing justice to those graduates of Polytechnic.
They are all important facets of our educational sector.
The quality of their product compare and compete favorably with products of the universities.
The 2020 dream will be realizable with this dichotomy abolished.
Some senators, however, opposed the bill, saying there is no basis for comparison between university degree and polytechnic diploma certificates.
HNDs in Nigeria, unless we are deceiving ourselves, cannot compete with the best engineering products in the rest of the world.
How can polytechnics be awarding HND in religious studies? It is better that all of them are consolidated into degree awarding institutions.
The bill, however, passed for second reading and referred to the Senate Committee on Education for further action.
Letting it go through the second reading and sending it for public hearing is for us to get more ideas about the way forward.
Also at Wednesday's plenary, the Senate President David Marr announced the appointment of Senator Atai Aidoko Ali from Kogi State as the new chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs to replace the late Senator Airo Awesi Kuta, while Senator Kuta's successor, Dr. Shem Zabanye Nuhu, is now the new vice chairman, Senate Committee on Navy. And the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ikweremadu, has granted audience to the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Vincent Tenebe, who came to notify him of the approval of his request for the establishment of a study center in his constituency at Augu Council area of Enugu State.
It has been my earnest desire to have a tertiary institution in the Enugu West. So you have helped us to fill this gap so that our people's yearning for higher education will be within their reach.
In the meantime, the Deputy Minority Leader of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Sani Yerima, has been conferred with a National Honors Award by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea for his contributions towards enhancing bilateral cooperation and collaboration between Nigeria and the Asian country.
This is an honor not only done to me as an individual, but to the people and government of Nigeria.
The decoration ceremony was performed by the Korean ambassador to Nigeria, Jong Yong Chol, on behalf of the Korean government. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has also passed for second reading a bill seeking to establish the Nigerian Peace Corps to empower, develop, and provide alternative employment for the youths. Also passed at second reading is a bill which seeks to establish the Chartered Institute of Loans and Risk Management of Nigeria. The House has also urged the Foreign Affairs Ministry to commence investigation on the death of a Nigerian student in Dubai, reportedly the son of former Bayelsa State Governor Depre Alamisia. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Okafor reports on proceedings of Wednesday's House plenary.
The mysterious death of another Nigerian in Dubai was moved by Representative Abike Dabiri-Erewa, member representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Lagos State. She expressed concern that just a few months ago, the son of television broadcaster Aisha Falode was allegedly killed in mysterious circumstances, with the case yet to be investigated by the Dubai authorities.
Between that time and now, many Nigerians were killed in Dubai. I can tell you categorically that at least 6 have died so far in Dubai. But we need to come to their aid. We need to come to their to support them and ensure that we investigate how our children or citizens are being killed abroad.
Meanwhile, lawmakers commenced debate on the general principles on the bill seeking to establish the Nigerian Peace Corps. The bill, which passed for second reading, seeks to facilitate peace community services, nation building, and engage unemployed Nigerian youths.
The key players on these vices are the youths of this great country. We must give time and energy by all means to contain some of these vices. And one of these ways is to establish the Nigerian Peace Corps.
Also passed for second reading is a bill seeking to establish the Chartered Institute of Loans and Risk Management in Nigeria. Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha referred the bill to the House Committee on Commerce for further legislative action. In the meantime, the member representing Kukawa Federal Constituency, Borno State, Isa Lawal, briefed the House on the attacks on communities in his constituency by groups suspected to be Boko Haram. He expressed concern on the effect of the insurgency on the area, which he notes is the state's largest food-producing area.
The House concerned that this unfortunate incident is still continuous, despite the announcement of ceasefire agreement.
The motion on the need to stop the use of face masks and hoods by the military and other security agencies was referred to all security-related committees of the House and security agencies to discuss the matter and report back to the House. The House dissolved into the Committee of the Whole. At the Committee of the Whole, 8 reports were considered, including 6 from the Public Petitions Committee. Recommendations and clauses totaling 17 were approved. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
The Pan-African Parliament has canvassed for renewed transparency and commitment by stakeholders towards the process of eradicating conflicts and crises on the continent. Correspondent Kena Emma Buduke in South Africa reports that participants at the ongoing 5th Ordinary Session of the 3rd Parliament believe that peace and accelerated development will continue to elude the continent for as long as strong and constitutional and political institutions are not entrenched.
In pursuance of its mandate to encourage good governance, transparency and accountability in member states, as well as familiarize the peoples of Africa with the objectives and policies aimed at integrating the African continent within the framework of the establishment of the African Union. The Pan-African Parliament is re-scrutinizing the issues of peace and security on the continent and the collaboration between it and the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM.
The international community should work together to help African countries develop their economies, eradicate poverty, protect the environment.
Though our African countries are different levels of development, we cannot afford to leave one another behind.
To this end, members are calling for the development of detailed action plan and the reinvigoration of political will by major actors, including the international community, in ensuring that lasting peace, security and stability are entrenched in the region for the good of its citizens.
For us to forge forward, we must be honest as African countries, to be able to do very honest self-assessment,
contributing to a more prosperous future for the people of Africa by promoting collective self-reliance and economic recovery remains a vital mandate of the Pan-African Parliament. From the Pan-African Parliament in South Africa, Kene Ima Abodike, NTA News.
And back home, there are calls on the federal government to be alert to the ceasefire agreement with Boko Haram sect and not to compromise action with breach of contract. This is the stand of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezerike reports.
Discussants say ceasefire agreement is not a one-off thing, but a process that has been on. They say that the federal government has good intention with the agreement, top of which is the release of the abducted Chibok girls and restoration of peace, even though some had reservations with the ceasefire that could send wrong signals.
The insecurity, the loss of territory, the human rights abuses that continue to go under the state of emergency, these are several questions that will be addressed, I believe, at a later date.
The ceasefire was brokered within certain contexts and within terms. But it has been released openly, giving speculation because all the strings attached and the fundamentals of the negotiations were not open.
All the speakers added their voices.
Even when you have a ceasefire, the conditionality should be clear. You should be prepared to actually be, not just be on your guard, to even hit harder. Because if the Boko Haram people are agreeing to ceasefire, it means that either they are suffering or they need time to recoup arms and personnel.
In case if this girl comes back tomorrow or next tomorrow, what is the orientation package that they actually have to have a plan for, give them that mental support?
The discussion is on tackling insurgency, taking stock of federal government's effort, which discussants say a lot is being done, and more still with post-insurgency to include rebuilding and reorientating minds. In Abuja, Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
And still on security matters, the recently concluded retreat for media and security personnel has widened the horizon in the management of the relationship between stakeholders in the two fields. Correspondent Mohammed Abdulkadir examines the fallout from the retreat and the way forward for the promotion of national security. His report.
The nation's media and security landscapes have never been in short supply of literatures dominating the book stands, such as the book on the military, the media, and the national security, widely referred to by resource persons alongside others. While the security agencies, personnel, and media practitioners express their views on way forward for improved relations in crisis management, new researchable and workable areas were identified.
One of the follow-ups that we're going to work on is these various areas of relating to one another, the techniques of it, and all the other aspects.
The management of information. Yes. Now, I think that there's a great deal of speculation that is going on, mainly because, one, information or intelligence is not gathered and disseminated to the people. So, if generally the people don't know, for example, that you have moved from a non-identifiable Boko Haram to identifiable Boko Haram.
To understand the perspectives from which each of us operate.
Each mass medium, print and electronics, need to promote national interest as a matter of patriotic duty.
We need to internalize that message that we are in a war situation, and what are we going to do to defend our country?
Section 22 of our Constitution says the media must make those in authority accountable to the people.
I think we better understood ourselves better than how we were before.
The convener of the retreat, Office of the National Security Advisor, in collaboration with Trim Communications, said the event achieved its intended objectives. It is the view of participants that the knowledge acquired from the retreat will be brought to bear on the molds, styles, and scopes of their operations, putting the national security interest first in the discharge of their duty. In Abuja, Muhammad Abdel Kadri, NTA News.
We take a quick trip back to South Africa, where the recent visit of the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, provided an opportunity for her to express the condolences of Nigerians to people of South Africa over the death of their citizens at the Synagogue Church of All Nations in Lagos. State House correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
It was a solemn service of songs and special prayer session that provided the platform for the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, to join the people of South Africa in their moments of grief, as well as convey the heartfelt condolences of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
He has asked me to assure you that he and the people of Nigeria are in full solidarity with all South Africans as you mourn the departed. The pain that you feel is the same pain that the people of Nigeria feel. We are all saddened by the accident. Our prayer is that the Lord Almighty, in His infinite mercies, will grant the souls of the departed peaceful repose, and all their families and associates the fortitude to bear their loss.
Dame Patience Jonathan assured the people of South Africa that President Goodluck Jonathan has ordered investigation into the incident.
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, has already visited the site in the company of the South Africa Ambassador to Nigeria. He has also directed that all relevant federal government agencies work in close collaboration with the authorities in Lagos, where the accident took place, to ensure that all the victims are properly identified and their bodies returned to their grieving families for proper burial.
The First Lady also thanked South Africans for their understanding over the unfortunate incident.
But we thank God that our people have not allowed this to affect the good relations between our two countries.
In Abuja, I am Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
And in Kaduna, wife of Vice President Amina Namadi Sambo has empowered more than 100 women and youths, including physically challenged, who were trained in various vocational skills. Correspondent Garba Mohammed Natahala reports that starter packs distributed were meant for them to practice what they have learned during their training.
Machines, cooking utensils, knitting machines, among other equipment. While the Vice President Amina Namadi Sambo stated that the intervention is part of effort to reduce poverty, particularly among women and youth, including physically challenged, who are vulnerable in the society.
Is a statement of our commitment towards achieving the Millennium Development Goal 1, which is to eradicate poverty and hunger. It is indeed heartwarming to see that the program is started here in Kaduna in 2007 as developed.
Governor Murtala Ramalan Yero of Kaduna State, represented by his wife Fatima Ramalan Yero, urged the beneficiaries to see themselves as responsible members of the society by contributing their quota in supporting their families and other youths to reduce economic hardship they face.
Because of the strong belief that an empowered woman is an empowered society, and most especially because we have resolved that our lives must improve for the better.
97 females, 15 males, as well as representatives from NGOs benefited after graduating through the IKEA Women and Youth Initiative of Wife of the Vice President in collaboration with vocational institutions. Some of the beneficiaries promised to use the items judiciously to develop themselves and the society. In Kaduna, Guru Muhammad Atala, NTA News.
And still to come, pension scam suspects to be rearranged and more politicians show interest in the elective offices. We'll be right back.
Strangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Guys, I did try remember the code to buy MTN internet bundle.
That one easy now. Make I help you Google the thing. Nah.
Just dial *123#
I dey use BB now.
Just dial *123#.
If I want change tariff plan, uncle.
Same thing.
Of course. That's how it comes simple.
For faster access to MTN services, just dial *123#.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
Would you ever buy half a dress? Is buying half a car a good deal? Would you settle for less than 100%? So why compromise on your fruit juice? Presenting Chivita 100% real, natural fruit juice with no preservatives and no added sugar, with a rich texture and real taste of fruits. Chivita 100% natural fruit juice for you and your family. Chivita 100% real fruit juice, available in orange, pineapple, apple, orange pineapple, and orange mango.
House of Cheese.
100% efficiency.
Many people, different tribes, different tongues.
100% productivity. 100% Nigerian. At Kakatar, we have set the record for being the first indigenous company to build a major bridge in Abuja using wholly Nigerian engineers. This bridge connects two highlands over a deep gulf. This is the dream of our founding fathers. Kakatar.
The Pension Transition Arrangement Directorate will hold stakeholder sensitization workshops on pension management in the South-South Zone on Friday 24th and Monday 27th October 2014. Participants: Nigerian Union of Pensioners Representatives, Sector Unions Representatives in Parastatals Pension, Police, Civil Service and Paramilitary, Pension Boards of Trustees, Underwriters and Brokers. Participants from Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River and River States. Date: 24th October 2014. Time: 9 a.m. Venue: Celebrity Event The Arena, 30 Tombia Street, GRA GRA Phase 3, Port Harcourt, River State, Delta and Edo States, Monday 27th October, time 9 a.m. Venue, Uyi Grand International Event Center, 35 Adeyan Street, off Airport Road, GRA, Benin City. For more details, check This Day, Sun, and Nation's newspapers of October 23rd, 2014. Management Announcer.
The Tata 2015 campaign organization in Katsina State heartily invites the entire people of Katsina State and his well-wishers across the country to the grand declaration of his gubernatorial ambition for Katsina State under the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Power! Special guest of honor, PDP National Chairman, Walim Bauchi, Dr. Ahmed Adamu Muazu. Father of the day, Sadaunan Kanu, Malang Ibrahim Shekarau. Date, Saturday 25th October 2014. Venue, Katsina Polo Ground. Time, 10 a.m. All the people of Katsina State, the PDP National Chairman will also launch PDP 1 million man registration drive and PDP sack from head to toe. Come, join us in laying the revolutionary foundation for a new Katsina. Announcer, Malang Umar Kabir Usman Nagogo. Secretary, Tata 2015 Campaign Organization.
The Board of Directors and Management staff of Platinum Mortgage Bank happily invites the general public to the commissioning ceremony of our regional headquarters in Enugu. Special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Enugu State, Mr. Sullivan Chime. Date, Thursday, the 23rd of October 2014. Venue, number 28 Ogui Road. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Signed, Management.
Get your favorite Dettol 70 gram pack for 100 Naira and now available the Super Family Pack for 170 Naira only. Whichever Dettol soap you choose, you get maximum protection against germs every day.
The Office of the National Security Advisor, in collaboration with the European Union Instrument for Stability, is organizing an international workshop on civil-military cooperation, CIMIC. The workshop will be declared open by His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. The workshop is aimed at boosting the capacity of members of the armed forces and other security agencies in international humanitarian law and human rights law in internal security operations. Date, 23rd to 25th of October 2014. Venue, National Defense College, Abuja. Time, 8:30 a.m. Announcer, Office of the National Security Advisor.
In the beginning, they lied to the world. This is what we were told. Then we saw this.
APC! APC!
Then they took to the streets. Now listen to this.
We commend the Bring Back Our Girls movement, led by members of this party. We hear that the federal government wants to take them to court. Let the courtroom be large enough to accommodate all of us when they sue them.
While the president and the security agencies intensified efforts to rescue the girls alive, they pretended to care for the Chibok girls. But indeed, their main motive is to present the president and government as uncaring and insensitive, hoping to be able to promote the 2015 political interests of their party and paymasters. Nigerians, unite and support our government to defeat terror and rescue our girls soonest.
Good to have you back on NTA News Extra. The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed the 26th of January 2015 for the rearrangement of 11 suspects linked with the pension scam of 2011. Justice Gabriel Kolawole said the long adjournment was to allow both the prosecution and defense streamline all the outstanding issues stalling the case. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo reports.
Dr. Sani Shaibu Taidi was one of the first Nigerians to be taken to court when the pension scam exploded in 2011. That matter still remains in court 4 years after, and not for determination, but still at the arraignment level. Charged along with one Eric Odusewe and 9 others who are corporate organs, Sani Shaibu Taidi and the others are to be rearranged over a series of pension fraud totaling 20 billion naira. Justice Gabriel Kolawole is the third judge before whom the case is coming at the Federal High Court, Abuja. The previous two being Justice Adamo Bello and Justice Adeniyi Ademola, whose bail condition for the two defendants was recently quashed by the Court of Appeal. When the case came up for mention on Wednesday, only Shaibu Taidi and Eric Odusegbe were in court. The court told Jubrin Samuel Okutekpa, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who is standing for Taidi, and Ms. Uchenna Ogbonabo from Godwin Obler Farm, who are the prosecutors on behalf of the EFCC and the federal government, that he would either revoke the bail or issue criminal summons if any of the parties seek to delay the trial any further once it resumes again in January 2015. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
And against the backdrop of human rights abuses and violations, key operators say though Nigeria has made tremendous progress in the protection of the rights of its citizenry, more still needs to be done in sensitizing individuals on how to enforce and defend their human rights when the need arises. This was the submission of a non-governmental organization, the Nigerian Citizens Advice, at a collaborative forum in the Federal Ministry of Justice, Abuja. Obiageli Ugukwe reports.
Practitioners have observed that oppression and human rights violations have prevailed because some citizens do not know the law, neither do they know their rights as a citizen. We are here to find out how knowledgeable the people are about the law and protecting their rights as a citizen of this country. Do you know how to go about it fighting for your rights?
Is to hand over the security.
I will use my right hand to defend my right.
I think I just use my mouth and my fist and everything I can use.
What I will do is to keep quiet.
That was a demonstration of the level of people's pitiable ignorance of their rights. They know little or nothing about the rule of law and protection of their rights as citizens. How to effectively tackle this challenge informed the gathering of these legal practitioners. They are a team of lawyers concerned with the promotion of free legal advice services in communities throughout Nigeria.
So I made a decision to get my team together to make sure that we take the law to our citizens. What I mean by that, going right to their doorstep to let them understand that they have a say.
The issue of the Nigerian Citizens Advice is to empower our citizens about their rights and to deal with the issue.
The team is set to collaborate with the Ministry of Justice, Human Rights Commission, other governmental and non-governmental organizations to drive home their mandate, which includes campaigning for fair consumer services, government introduction of texting drivers for drunkenness on Nigerian roads, and respect for people's rights at all phases.
We are and as colleagues that one of the conditions for the conferment of the rank of senior advocate is the number of your pro bono cases. So we are aligned with you.
The collaboration is expected to enhance advocates for clients in complex legal issues and address challenges impacting negatively on the rights of all persons. In Abuja, Obiageli Ugukwe, NTA News.
I will use all I have to defend my rights. What about you? As the closing date of collections of nomination forms of the People's Democratic Party draws nearer, more aspirants were at the party's headquarters in fulfillment of the requirement. Abdullahi Garba Kodu tells us more.
Chief Alao Akala was one-time governor of Oyo State, and he wants to bounce back to the government house Ibadan. He was accompanied to pick the forms by PDP National Secretary Wale Oladepo and House Leader Mulikat Akande Adiola.
I want to come back because the people of Oyo State want me back.
From Niger State comes a three-time senator, a former Deputy Inspector General Police, Nuhu Aliyu.
I am going to build the PDP to grow stronger and powerful.
For the seat of the Caliphate Sokoto, it was Senator Abdullah Wali who is showing interest in the race.
It is the people of Sokoto that invited me to come and run.
Interestingly, from Benue comes a woman aspirant, Rosalind Adachengi, who says she is encouraged by the opportunity given to women by the PDP.
I am the solution to the crisis in Benue.
For all the aspirants, the party through its organizing secretary Abubakar Mustafa calls for rancor-free primaries. Actually, it was beehive of activities at the PDP National Secretariat, an indication that the race to 2015 general election is on. From PDP National Secretariat in Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Former Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chief Emeka Nwogo, has formally declared his intention to run for the governorship of Abia State on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Linda Oswala reports that the former minister was received back home at the Owerri Airport en route Abia State by a mammoth crowd of supporters.
Owerri Airport, Chief Nwogo was received at the Umuahia capital city of Abia State by a large crowd of supporters who turned out to welcome the Nwadiala from Abuja. At the PDP Secretariat Umuahia, where he made his formal declaration, Chief Nwogo described himself as a loyal party member who has represented the party well over the years and expressed his readiness to continue to contribute his quota for the development of Abia State if given the opportunity to vie for the office of the governor in 2015 election.
Party chairman, following the party guidelines and timetable, I quit my job. I'm running for the gubernatorial primary election come November 29.
He said a widow handed over to him a letter pleading that he should contest for governorship election so as to continue to put smiles on the faces of the less privileged. At Ungwaland, it was a fanfare when the former minister arrived as both indigenes and non-indigenes rolled out drums to welcome their illustrious son back home. Responding, the former minister and wife described the reception accorded him as amazing and overwhelming. Emeka Nwogo recently resigned his appointment as minister to contest election into the office of the governor of Abia State in 2015 elections. In Aba, Linda Oswala, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Senate President, David Marks, says although the agenda of the PDP is to win Oyo State, no one or group is plotting to impose a governorship candidate on the people, describing allegations by Rescue Team 2015 as baseless and unfounded. Senate leader Victor Ndoma Egba is an old-timer in the National Assembly whose experience is always needed for continued stabilization of the red chambers. These were the words of the PDP leadership as the senator picked his nomination form to come back to the Senate in the 2015 elections. Abdullahi Garba bin Kudu was at the PDP Secretariat and now reports.
Banamad Gemade, chairman of the committee and one-time chairman of the largest party in Africa, to move for this distinguished Senate to receive his report.
Senate leader Victor Ndoma Eva doing what he knows best, leading the Senate majority and representing Cross River Central well. That is why he is presenting himself again for re-election by picking the PDP nomination forms. The party leadership identified with his wealth of experience and contributions to the Senate.
A leading light in the National Assembly, a stabilizing factor, a very, very unassuming personality, a team player.
For Senator Ndoma Eba, he attributes the success to the style of leadership of Senate President David Mark.
The National Assembly is stable, the party is stable, the polity is stable, and Nigeria is stable.
Some of his supporters speak.
That can be, and it is the best that we want.
We have no other person, we have no other candidate. Senator Victor Ndoma Egba is our candidate.
Senate leader Ndoma Eba has been in the Senate since 2003. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Some major stakeholders in Enugu East Senatorial District have purchased both nomination and expression of interest forms for the former Chief of Staff, Enugu Government House, Mrs. Ifeoma Nwobodo, to run for the senatorial seat in 2015. Amaka Onoima reports.
The stakeholders, which included the State Deputy Governor, Reverend Ralph Nwoye, 6 local government council chairmen in the zone, as well as some political, marched from the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium through Ogui Road to the People's Democratic Party office. Led by the State Algon chairman, Prince Cornelius Nnaji, the group said the action is informed by the outstanding qualities and landmark achievements of the former Chief of Staff in the development of the state.
We are here to get the PDP nomination form for her because we are urging her to go on and contest for the Enugu Senatorial Zone senatorial position come 2015.
The chairman committee on the sale of nomination forms, Mr. Ogon Nobona, handed over the form to the leader of the group. Responding, the state auditor of the party, Mr. Armstrong Abo, said the purchase of the party nomination forms is open to all eligible members of the party vying for political positions. He advised the aspirants to work according to the party's constitution.
We as a party see everybody on equal platform. It is only on a day set aside by our timetable that you will come and express who you support totally.
Mrs. Ifeoma Nwobodo is the first aspirant to pick the nomination form for the Enugu East Senatorial. Enugu, Amaka Onoima, NTA News.
A new quarterly magazine that x-rays salient issues on governance and governance institutions with a highlight on President Goodluck Jonathan's scorecard on transformation agenda has been launched in Ilorin. Shola Wahid reports.
The magazine, known as Applause, is published by a group called Professor Oba Beneficiaries Forum, POBEF, to celebrate and appreciate the good works of the Chairman, Federal Character Commission, Professor Shuaib Oba Abdurrahim. While presenting the magazine to the general public, a governorship aspirant on the platform of People's Democratic Party, Ben Dutoye, commended the publishers for their thoughtfulness. He described Professor Oba Abdurrahim as a selfless individual that has touched many lives positively. The chairman of the occasion, Barrister Yaya Akimade, said the country needs people like the professor who has the interest of the masses at heart. In his remark, Professor Oba Abdurrahim thanked the people for their support and promised not to let them down.
Repeat the kind of thing that President Jonathan has said before, that his personal ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian, and so it is with me.
There were goodwill messages from PDP stalwarts, friends and family. High point of the event was a drama presentation extolling the virtues of Professor Oba Abdurrahim. In Ilorin, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
This is News Extra. When we return, experts on long-term economic plan as prerequisite for attaining economic viability by 2020. Plus, business news and trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Abdullahi in Lagos is our guide.
There are those that want to divide Nigeria, to take us back to another time. But the future belongs to you, and the better future is the one we are building together. Together we have built the largest economy in Africa. And now we must lift up every Nigerian child, strengthen education in every corner of the country, keep building the infrastructure of a modern society, the roads that bring commerce, the energy and water and prosperity to lift up every family. So, to those that want to divide Nigeria, we say the future is hard work, but we are building it together. We can't go back. The future belongs to us. Good luck, Jonathan. One Nigeria, moving forward together.
Look, Aboki, Oga, that is my final price for your cows. Take it or leave it.
Oga, that price is very, very low, wallahi. 50,000 for the cow. I don't agree, Oga.
No. Shh. Everything is settled.
Oga, with the nationwide outbreak of the and the mouth diseases, you do not have a choice but to buy from us.
Oga, you take it or you leave it.
Why the lucky don't look so sad, Oga. We will throw in a goat as a bonus.
Okay, I'll take it. We have a deal.
That's an easy way. I know.
Always stay connected to the vast world of online information. Stay always on with Airtel Internet.
Airtel Internet, the smartest network for your smartphone.
Dial star 401 hash to activate.
Would you ever buy half a dress? Is buying half a car a good deal? Would you settle for less than 100%? So why compromise on your fruit juice? Presenting Chivita 100% real, natural fruit juice with no preservatives and no added sugar, with a rich texture and real taste of fruits. Chivita 100% natural fruit juice for you and your family. Chivita 100% real fruit juice, available in orange, pineapple, apple, orange pineapple, and orange mango.
House of Cheese.
The Advertisers Practitioners Council of Nigeria, AFCON, in collaboration with International Center for Alcohol Policies, ICAP, and the Beer Sectoral Group, BSG, of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, host the Alcohol Beverage Marketing Summit 2014, 3rd edition.
Aimed at protecting consumers from the abuse and misuse of alcohol.
Theme, Responsible Alcohol Marketing.
Venue, Lagos Hall, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja.
Thursday, October 23rd, 2014 at 9 a.m. prompt.
Keynote speaker, Brett Vivans, Senior Vice President, ICAP.
Other speakers, Dr. Arthur Pobber, Senior Fellow, Center for Digital Future USA.
Tolu Ogunkoya, AFCON Fellow, President, MIBAN, and Adiakide MNI, AFCON Fellow, Managing Director, Campaign Palace.
Participants, top government officials, and dignitaries nationwide.
This forum will hold yearly among producers, consumers, ad agencies, the media, and the regulators within ECOWAS with low awareness on responsible alcohol marketing.
Announcer, Alhaji Garuba Bello Kakanrofi, FRPA, Registrar, CEO, AFCON.
Love is the greatest of all virtues. The Holy Bible and the Holy Quran tell us so. Love is not boastful. Love is humble, cool under pressure. Love is hope for the next generation. Love is the North, East, West, and South living in unity. Love is progress despite adversity. It makes the impossible possible. Love is a secure nation with prosperity for all. Love is transformation. We need more love. Good luck, Abele Jonathan. Driven by love for God and country. Mr. President, we appreciate you. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Good to have you back on NTA News Extra this Wednesday evening. Nigeria advised to develop long-term plan that will place it among the topmost diversified economies in the world. And details of trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange now with Abdullahi Mohammed.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Business News. My name is Abdullahi Mohammed. Nigeria has been advised to implement long-term economic policies that will make the country rank among one of the top most diversified economies in the world. This is one of the recommendations made by a renowned economic strategist and investor, De Kremer, at a forum in Lagos. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele also reiterated government's commitment to sustaining the growth of the Nigerian economy. The report.
In the face of global decline in oil revenue due to a surplus in supply, De Kremer says Nigeria must initiate a well-thought-out long-term plan, which is expected to unlock the massive potential in agriculture, solid minerals and natural gas. He cited the Brazilian model of economic transformation and compared with what obtains in Nigeria. He pointed out that the country has all it takes to supersede what the Brazilian model has achieved. As part of the long-term plan, Mr. Kremer insists that Nigeria needs to gradually privatize its downstream oil and gas subsector, ensure an effective and competitive price so as to attract investors.
And if we steadily improve in all of the economic freedom indicators, all the rules of the game, etc., my guess is that we will end up beating Brazil in the economic World Cup.
But hopefully, this trend of falling prices will spur us into more urgent action. One area where we must definitely, strive to do a lot more is agriculture.
Well, I believe they should continue to propagate the gospel.
Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele emphasized that policymakers are already committed to implementing strategies that will sustain the country's economic growth.
Yes, that crude prices are dropping, and know that this presents some form of vulnerabilities to Nigeria. I can assure you that the fiscal authorities and the monetary authorities are taking actions to ensure that we take steps that will present Nigeria to withstand the shocks that we see.
And now we move on to the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where result of transactions today are hereby presented. Trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today closed with about 193 million shares sold, valued at 2.66 billion naira in 4,302 deals. Market capitalization closed 12.91 trillion, leaving the all-share index at 39.113.62 points. New gold closed at 2,002 naira to gain 22 naira, followed by Guinness, which added 14 naira 90 kobo to the value of its shares. On the losers chart was Unilever. It shed 2 naira 12 kobo, followed by PZ to close at 26 naira 50 kobo to also shed 1 naira 24 kobo. And that's business news tonight. News Extra continues shortly.
Thank you, Abdullahi. And still on business, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Unity Bank PLC, Henry Seminitari, had the singular honor to perform the traditional closing rites on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today. Musa Toliat reports that the visit to the Stock Exchange was aimed at commending the key roles played by various stakeholders in the success of the bank rights issue.
The closing bell signaling the end of transactions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. But it is more significant as it was performed by Chief Executive Officer of Unity Bank PLC, a bank that has recorded an important milestone in its right issues already oversubscribed on the floor.
That's happened in the history of our dear bank. So we continue progress to do the professional job you did with us in the course of our rights issue journey to ensure that the penny stock you used to know years ago will become a pound stock.
After commending the players on the floor of the exchange, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Unity Bank PLC reiterated the bank's commitment to yielding higher returns to its shareholders while keeping the bank profitable.
We achieved the success we have got basically due to support of shareholders, support of members of staff, and the goodwill Unity Bank enjoys across the country in Nigeria, not just locally and also internationally. As a bank, we are well situated for retail business. Our pricing was not just only good, but also it has its potentials.
Unity Bank's Managing Director was accompanied to the floor by the Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Stock Exchange, Oscar Onyema, and other top officials. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The federal, state and local governments are to share 603,529 million naira for the month of September. This is the outcome of the just concluded Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting in Abuja. Minister of State for Finance, Ambassador Bashir Yuguda, said the gross revenue of 502.097 billion naira received in September was lower than 601,648 million naira received in the previous month by 99.5 billion.
It's 217 billion 772. The states will share a total sum of 110 billion 456, while the local government councils across the country will share 85 billion 157. The derivation, which is 13%, will go with 43 billion 735.
The need for Africa to pursue sustainable partnership to accelerate growth and development has been advocated at the recently concluded African Development Forum in Morocco. Olawale Hamzat, just back from the event, filed in this report.
The 9th edition of the African Development Forum has ended in Marrakesh, Morocco, with a call to promote new forms of partnership to accelerate Africa's development. Heads of government from the host Morocco, Cape Verde, Senegal, and Côte d'Ivoire, and representatives of various national institutions, members of the civil societies, and non-governmental organizations from across Africa deliberated on the theme, Innovative Financing for Africa's Transformation.
What does it mean to be an African today? In Africa, not to talk of in the world. In other words, have a new partnership between the leadership and the followership on our continent as a foundational principle on which to build other forms of partnership.
Delegates came up with a policy document which is expected to promote greater partnership between the private and public sector to accelerate Africa's transformation.
We were able to discuss all these themes and come up with very concrete recommendations and a clear roadmap that will help Africa to address this issue of development finance.
Some of the issues addressed at the forum are domestic resource mobilization, private equity for investment, new forms of partnership, illicit financial flows, and climate financing. From Marrakesh in Morocco.
And a bit of education, Afe Babalola University at Ado-Ekiti has held its second convocation for over 300 graduates. At the ceremony, an honorary Doctor of Science degree was conferred on former Head of State, General Yakubu Gowon. Michael Olale has the details.
Out of the 334 graduates, 47 bagged first-class honor across various disciplines, while 158 graduated with second-class upper division, 115 clinched second-class lower, and 14 managed third-class division. 4 eminent personalities, including former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon and Vice Chairman of Julius Berger Nigeria and Stockerson, received honorary degree of doctors in different fields, while the university in its usual tradition rewarded academic excellence. With diverse tales of success recorded across all strata, within the time frame of 5 years, the university as a brand name in tertiary education says it is providing the missing link and answer to the country's developmental challenges.
If you keep to the discipline, the rules, and all that you come through here, you make it better than the founder of this university.
Former Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oye Ibidapo, who delivered the convocation lecture, said Abwad has given the liberty to share experience and project into the university of the future based on its clear vision on reformative education. Some of the graduates and their parents who shared their experience on academic sojourn believe the future looks brighter. Ekiti State Governor Mr. Ayodele Fayose offered a check of 1 million naira to the best graduating student, Tosin Ogunbusola, with further promise of automatic employment. Being the reference point for tertiary education in the country, Abwad has through this convocation ceremony demonstrated that the future of university education in the country is brighter than anticipated. In Ado-Ekiti, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Thank you, Michael. Gombe State is referred to as the jewel in the savannah. In an effort to live up to that billing, the state governor recently created a new ministry to cater for metropolitan and urban development to meet world standard in habitation. This is why the state sent a team to visit the Development Control Unit of the Federal Capital Territory to understudy the master plan of the FCT, especially as it affects development control. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh has the details.
As a function shared by the 3 tiers of government, development control is aimed at ensuring proper adherence to acceptable standards in planning for infrastructural development and good habitat. The regulatory bodies of these tiers in this connection have therefore the powers to, among other things, initiate, plan and execute development activities, as well as ensuring that they conform with global acceptable standards. Gombe State, though one of the smallest states of the Federation in terms of size, has fundamentally been having its own share of the problem of urbanization and exigencies of infrastructural development in view of its strategic location. Centrally located in the heart of the northeastern part of the country, coupled with its tremendous attractions across the region and the entire nation. Over the years, coping with the upsurge of urbanization, the state has had little or no viable strategic plan to standardize its infrastructural development drive and environmental protection. The Dankwambo administration has taken the bull by the horn in not only beefing up the activities of the regulatory agencies for maintaining standards, but has also created a whole ministry for metropolitan and urban development, which not only concerns itself with regulatory matters on urban development and town planning, but also on environmental control and beautification. Preparatory to the full takeoff of the ministry, the state government set up a team headed by the Commissioner for Metropolitan and Urban Development, Hajia Fatima Abubakar, to go on a study tour of strategic cities of the Federation, with Abuja Federal Capital Territory as the focal point. While in Abuja, views were shared and issues concerning expertise on urban development and control were discussed extensively.
Their own interaction has been very incisive and professional, and it means from the interaction we have also known certain areas that we need to work on, so that if we must share ideas in such areas, then they must be ideas that are worthy and credible.
At the end of the visit, we will see what we'll be able to borrow and see what will fit into Gombe, so that at the end of it we'll develop a very good and nice model for our own state.
The issue of urban renewal, environmental protection and good habitat is indeed a dynamic one in coping with the exigencies of urbanization and infrastructural development. In this connection, Gombe State has taken the lead among its peers. In Abuja, Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
Great plans therefore needed success. As we move close to the digitization era, African broadcasters at the exhibition of broadcast equipment stress the importance of rich content in programming. That's up ahead. Stay with us.
Ambassadors of Nigeria.
My good people of Nigeria, does anybody use mirror to look at what they have at hand? No! Good luck at the ingredients of life. Automobile industries, full encouragement. Second Niger bridge from mirage to reality. Good luck! Railways, seaports and airports are come back to modern life. Good luck! Or a Benin highway and other federal highways from dead trap to modern spectacle. Good luck! There you are. Petrol and nyaf with control price and so many other etc. Good luck I do. Good luck are going to do. And good luck will be yours. Are you see what I'm saying? Only good luck have faced the security challenges of Nigeria with honesty and commitment, fighting terrorism to a halt.
Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Done for one vision, Nigeria.
The National Sugar Development Council, NSDC, with pleasure invite the general public to the 2014 Sugar Forum with the theme, Nigeria Sugar Master Plan Implementation, The Journey So Far, under the chairmanship of Olusegun Aganga, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Guest speakers, Mr. Graham Clark, Dr. Mohammed Santuraki, Hugh Glenn Jones, and Kola Jamodu. Keynote address to be delivered by Dr. Latif Busari, Executive Secretary, NSDC. Special guest of honor, Captain Idris Wada, Executive Governor, Kogi State. Venue, New Banquet Hall, Governor's Office, Lokoja. Date, Thursday, 23rd October 2014. Time, 9 a.m. Organizing Committee. Announcer.
It's
TR, burst of refreshment. Available in peach, tropical fruit, apple peach pear, kiwi mint lime, and guava. Chi Happy Hour, burst of refreshment.
House of Chi.
And those who make changes. We belong to the kind that make changes. We believe in it. We demonstrate it. We support it. We endorse it. Let the change continue. This message is brought to you by Project 774, where government meets the governed.
You are still on to News Extra on Africa's largest television network, NTA. The Nigerian Television Authority's drive to provide Nigerians and the international community with quality programming was taken to another level when top management of the organization participated in the largest television content market by MIPCON in Cannes, France. Elizabeth Bano reports.
As Nigeria intensifies efforts towards digitization, game players have again stressed the importance of content in projecting the true African perspective in its programming. At the biggest gathering of content providers and marketing executives in the world, Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Shola Omole, says the NTA must be at the forefront of ensuring that Nigeria becomes a hub for TV content provision.
What do our people want to see? What do they want to watch? What kind of entertainment? It's not a free-for-all, so we need to structure these things to be in conformity with what we as an organization can be proud to present to Nigerians.
We need to look at, selling some of these, some of our programs, but of course, on a contract basis. And then also we too are looking at other opportunities as well.
Chairman, National Broadcasting Commission wants other TV networks in Nigeria to take a cue from the NTA.
And I'm very impressed with what we've done so far. And I know that with time, our technical level will continue to improve.
I personally visited Nigeria last May. There's a lot of co-productions that we want to explore within African countries, and especially obviously Nigeria.
It's been 4 days of networking and establishing friendship. It is now time to go back home and strategize on how to improve content, but not without a sit-out at the La Mandela restaurant.
Emeka, my cameraman, at some point could not resist the Niger jams, so he abandoned his camera. I am Elizabeth Banu, NTA News.
Well, better days ahead for our esteemed viewers on the Nigerian Television Authority. Do watch out for great things. And now to religious matters. The FCT has concluded its 2014 Hajj operations with no death recorded. FCT Amir Hajj and Saraki Jiwa Alhaji Idris Musa confirmed this to newsmen on arrival from the Holy Land at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Correspondent Abdullahi Ajia reports that the last flight arrived on Monday night with more than 400 pilgrims on board.
The fifth and last flight successfully completed series of return flights operations of FCT Muslim pilgrims after the 2014 religious observance in Saudi Arabia. The FCT Amirul Hajj and Sarkin Jua Al-Haji Idris Musa said the cooperation of all stakeholders yielded results before and during the operations.
Our pilgrims cooperated with us. The entire workers, the staff and the staff of the board and the ministerial team and the Amir Hajj team work together.
Chairman of the FCT Muslim Pilgrims Board and Chief Imam of Abuja National Mosque, Sheikh Musa Muhammad, believed FCT pilgrims have benefited from a spirituality of a renewed faith in Allah.
We are back as changed pilgrims, and inshallah we will continue like that. None of the pilgrims was admitted in the hospital, and none of them was dead. All are back. We wish the leaders of this country well, and we hope, inshallah, the prayers we have prayed there will surely change the country to the better.
While thanking the FCT administration for its adequate and timely support for FCT pilgrims, Director of the FCT Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, Muhammad Bashir, said it is a shared glory.
We have been giving all the logistic support to see that we have succeeded. And then finally, the cooperation of the media houses.
It was later time to be reunited with friends and family members who waited for hours to receive their own after due clearance by the respective airport operatives. From the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, I am Abdullahi Hajia, NTA News.
Thank God for Johnny Mercy and congratulations to the pilgrims. Up next, global events and sports update. Thanks for staying on News Extra.
When you open the new bottle of Legend Extra Stout and pour yourself a glass of realness, you don't say cheers, you say confound. No more, no less. Enjoy the same full brewed, real taste of Legend Extra Stout, now with a new gold crown cork, gold neck foil, and metallized body label. Legend Extra Stout, the real deal. Drink responsibly.
With deep sorrow, but in absolute submission to the will of the Almighty God, we announce the passing away of our beloved father, husband, brother, and the Chief Executive Officer of IGI PLC, Mr. Oluremi Andrew Olowude OON, who slept in the Lord on Saturday, 27th September 2014. He is survived by his wife, children, sons-in-law, and grandchild. Burial arrangements are as follows. Reception follows immediately at the Arc Event Center, Remi Olowudewe, Oniru, Lekki, Lagos. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Announcer Tunde Olowude for the family.
Good to have you back on NTA News Extra. The heart of Ottawa, Canada's capital, is in lockdown as police search for alleged gunmen following shooting at Parliament Hill today. Let's join Canada Bureau Chief Wilfred Owalefo, who was at the scene.
This is downtown Ottawa, really the heart of Ottawa. Just down there is the Parliament building where so much of what has happened today, is been reported. A couple of hours ago, it is said that a gunman ran into this building here after shooting a soldier. He was actually killed by the police much later, but even the soldier is said to have died in hospital. Because of that, much of this place is in lockdown. You can see the police line over there. Nobody's been allowed beyond here. And even all the people in the buildings around here have been evacuated. Buses have been diverted from the streets and no traffic has been allowed here. Much of the media has actually come here because there's so much attention on what is happening here, because there's a lot of fear about terrorism coming into Canada. Just a couple of days ago, there was an incident in Montreal where a soldier was mowed down by another man. He was also killed by the police. So the police is out on the street looking for those whom they believe are accomplices to the man who shot a soldier earlier on in the day, because the belief is that he was not acting alone. And going by the stories we've had here, apparently there are quite a number of people who were involved in this incident. We'll keep you up to date as events unfold. In Ottawa, Wilfred Owalefo, NTA News.
An African doctor wins Europe's prize, and World Health Organization Emergency Committee on Ebola brainstorms on practical measures to curb the spread of the virus. These are more on global tidbits with Chindima Ndobisi.
A gynecologist from the Democratic Republic of Congo has been announced winner of Europe's top human rights prize for helping thousands of gang rape victims in his country. And Ghanaian President John Mahama has confirmed the setup of treatment centers and supplies of vital resources for tackling Ebola virus in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. In another development, the World Health Organization Emergency Committee has met in Geneva. The meeting examined screening measures at borders and deliberations on if stricter regulations should be imposed. Already, the United States of America has made new rules mandating travelers from Ebola-affected countries to arrive only in one of the 5 designated airports. In the meantime, Ben Bradley, editor of Washington Post, during the Watergate scandal that led to the resignation of former U.S. President Richard Nixon, dies at the age of 93. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
And our sports. First Bank Football Club is the winner of the 2014 edition of the All Financial Institutions Football Competition. The Pioneer Financial Institution is in Nigeria defeated CBN Football Club by a lone goal in the final played at the main bowl of the Kwara State Stadium Complex, Ilorin. Sports correspondent Dane Desani has more.
The final of the 28th edition of the All Financial Institutions Football Competition pitted CBN Football Club against First Bank Football Club, with both teams trying each other for size in a closely contested encounter at the Kwara State Stadium Complex. The first half ended goalless, and this forced defending champion CBN to commit more men forward, which gave room for First Bank's Gafar Lassisi to score the only goal of the encounter on the 56th minute.
Something is wrong with the microphone, and we are hoping that we'll do that.
The goal opened up the match, with both teams failing to convert any of the chances that came their way. Earlier, in the third-placed match, the Security and Exchange Commission defeated Ikeja Microfinance Bank via a penalty shootout.
And Nigeria's hope of extending a record of titles of the African Women Championship brightened on Wednesday evening in Namibia. The Super Falcons defeated South Africa to stake claim to a 7th title, having qualified for the final. Details with Amanze Marcos.
Nigeria Super Falcons on Wednesday qualified to the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada at the